80% of people who lose fat won't keep it off for 12 months. And as much as 95% of people who lose weight gain it all back within a few years. Why? Because almost everybody is making the same 4 mistakes, usually without realizing it. So in this video, I'm going to show you the 4 hidden reasons you're not losing fat, how they trick you into thinking you're on track, and then the simple fix for each so you can finally lose fat and keep it off. And I saved the biggest one for last. It's the reason that your body actively undoes the progress that you push so hard to gain. And the harder that you push, the worse it can get. If you get that one wrong, then fixing the others can't save you. So to start, I'm going to show you the first reason the fat won't come off, and it's the one almost nobody suspects, because it's a lie that we tell ourselves. When scientists compare what people say that they eat to what they actually eat, the gap is staggering. Turns out most people underestimate their daily intake by 20 to 50%. I am definitely guilty of this sometimes. So someone who thinks they're eating 1,500 calories a day could really be closer to 2,000 a day, and they really have no idea. That's the difference between losing pounds of fat and losing nothing. Now you might be thinking, that's not me. I read the labels. Maybe you're a calorie counter. I track everything. But that's exactly where this gets frustrating, because the numbers themselves are lying to you, starting with the label on the back of the package. You'd assume that calorie count is the law, but it's not. The FDA legally allows the calorie count to be off by as much as 20% in either direction. So a frozen meal that says 400 calories can legally contain 480, yet the label says 400. And the rules are more forgiving when companies underreport calories than when they overreport calories. Then stack restaurant meals on top of that. When researchers tested popular restaurant dishes, the meals averaged 18% more calories than the menu claimed they had. Some had as much as 200% more than double what was listed. Next are the lies that you tell yourself. So it's frustrating that the label's lying to you, but then you lie to yourself. It turns out that the bigger the meal in front of you, the worse your brain is at judging how many calories it has. Does this happen to you? With a small snack, your guess is close. But with a big plate of food, people lowball it. I've done this by as much as 38%. This is why so many people swear that they're in a deficit, and then the scale won't move, because you're being lied to by the label, definitely by the menu in the restaurant, and then by your own brain all at once. Now, if the numbers are this unreliable, you might think the answer is to track even harder, but it's not. You can't count numbers that are wrong before you ever write them down. Not to mention that counting only looks at how much you eat, and that's the issue why I don't talk about counting calories a lot, because it never looks at the quality of what you're eating. You can hit your calorie target perfectly on processed junk food that keeps your body in fat storage mode and leaves you hungry an hour later. So stop counting and focus on eating quality food instead. I'm talking about clean protein, healthy fat, and fiber. Things like pasture-raised eggs, wild-caught fish, grass-fed beef, extra virgin olive oil, nuts, seeds, avocados, leafy greens, cruciferous vegetables, low-sugar fruits. When you put the right foods on your plate, your body starts regulating its own appetite, and you naturally eat less without measuring a thing or battling cravings all day. Processed food does the opposite. Anytime it makes noise when you open it or comes through a window, your body's going to struggle. It's stripped of real nutrition, so your body keeps asking for more. Then you simply want to stick to 3 real meals and cut out the snacking in between. Eat that way 3 solid quality meals a day, and then your portions will shrink on their own when the plate is filled with proper proteins, proper fibers is really important, and proper fats. You'll land in a natural, healthy deficit without ever logging a single calorie. Now, mistake number 2. We just covered one way you talk yourself into eating more than you actually realize you're eating. Now, here's another that's even easier to miss because it never feels like eating at all. It's what you drink. When you eat solid food, your body notices, chewing it, digesting it, flips on the signals that your gut is taking on food. It's sending signals to your brain and letting it know it's starting to get full. But the liquid calories skip all of that. They slide through so fast through your body that they barely get registered. So you can drink 400 calories and feel just as hungry 20 minutes later as if you had nothing at all. And because your hunger never goes down, those calories don't replace any of the food that you were going to eat. They just get added right on top of it. So this happens very commonly with a flavored coffee in the morning or energy drink in the afternoon, a glass or two of wine at night. That can add 700 to 900 calories to a day without you even realizing it. You were just drinking something. And one of those drinks does something far worse than just add calories. I'm talking about the alcohol at the end of the day. The moment it hits your bloodstream, your body treats it like a poison. That means it drops everything else to deal just with the alcohol first, because getting that toxin out becomes the top priority. And as a result, fat burning comes to a grinding halt. One study found that a moderate amount of alcohol cut fat burning by as much as 79% over the next several hours. 79% shuts the whole machine down. So you could eat 3 perfect meals in a day and still burn almost no fat that night simply because you had a couple drinks. And the big picture backs this up. In a study that followed 5,000 people for 4 years, the ones who skipped alcohol completely lost more than twice as much weight as the regular drinkers. Twice as much from just the drinks alone. So here's what to do about it. First, for 1 week, keep track of every single thing that you drink that isn't water. Every coffee, soda, juice, energy drink, glass of wine. Most people are genuinely shocked when they see it on paper. Second, start swapping. Black coffee instead of a flavored latte. Sparkling water with lemon, that's my go-to, instead of a soda or instead of a juice or instead of an alcoholic beverage. You'll cut hundreds of calories a day without touching a single thing on your plate. Third, if you're gonna drink alcohol, decide on it ahead of time and treat it as a special part of your budget for the day. It's going to put you in a deficit. You need to make up for it earlier in the day. And know that on any night you have more than a drink or two, your fat burning is switched off, no matter how clean you ate the rest of the day. That's the trade that you're making. Let's go to number 3. The next mistake most people make is sabotaging their fat loss by doing the wrong kind of exercise. Talking about relying on long, steady cardio to lose weight. Now, I'm going to exclude walking from this category because I think walking is more of a bolt-on. You add that into your regimen. You add your steps in. Talking about the form you do when you decide to do your exercise. Cardio isn't bad, don't get me wrong. Great for your heart, great for your mood, and your blood sugar. The problem is what steady cardio does and doesn't do for fat loss. It burns calories while you're doing it, but then it stops. Your muscle, on the other hand, burns calories around the clock. While you're sitting, while you're working, even while you're sleeping. Here's the real problem. When you eat less and you're doing nothing but cardio, your body doesn't just burn fat. It starts burning muscle right alongside it. In a study on older adults, one group dieted to lose weight and another group dieted and did regular cardio. Now, you'd expect the exercisers to come out ahead, but the cardio group actually lost more muscle than the group that only dieted. And that's a problem because muscle is what keeps your metabolism up all day long. Every pound of muscle you lose means your body burns a little bit less each day. The engines run a little less hot, which forces you to eat even less just to keep losing weight and keep the scale moving. And eating less burns off even more muscle. And it's a slow downward spiral that you really want to avoid at all costs. Now, if grinding out cardio is sabotaging your metabolism, what do you do instead? There's actually one form of exercise that does the complete opposite. Instead of eating your muscle, it upgrades your body's ability to burn fat and build muscle. Here's the part that makes no sense at first. Back in the 90s, researchers in Canada compared 2 groups. One doing long, steady cardio, the other doing short bursts of hard effort. And the steady cardio group burned about 15,000 more calories during their workouts. So they lost more fat, right? Wrong. The other group actually lost over 3 times more fat. And for every calorie they burned, they lost almost 9 times more fat. How is that even possible? How does burning fewer calories melt more fat? It comes down to what those short, hard bursts actually do to your body. The style of training is known as high-intensity interval training, or HIIT. It doesn't just burn calories, it literally reprograms the way that your body handles fat. The hard effort switches on the fat-burning enzymes inside of your muscles, and it floods your body with adrenaline adrenaline and growth hormone. It's a combination that frees up fat to burn while protecting the muscle that you otherwise lose. Then comes the afterburn. For hours after you finish, your metabolism stays elevated while your body recovers. So a 10-minute session keeps burning fat long after you stopped. Steady cardio simply doesn't do that. Now, again, I like to bolt on some walking, but I really focus a lot of my exercise sessions around higher intensity workouts. And if you're over 50, this can be an even bigger game changer because that surge of adrenaline goes straight after the deep visceral fat packed around your organs. Now, you might think it sounds too intense at your age, but it's not. In one study, nearly 5,000 heart patients did around 50,000 hours of this type of training without a single heart attack during a session. Your body is built for short bursts of high intensity, even as you get older. And it takes almost nothing, a few hard bursts with rests in between, scaled to your level of fitness in about 10 minutes in your living room with no gym required. So you can stop grinding out endless cardio. The cardio burns off the muscle. The cardio is slowly sabotaging your ability to lose fat. So trade some of it for short, intense bursts that protect your muscle and keep you burning fat for hours after you stop. Now, if you want to try it for yourself, so many of the people that are listening to this or follow my channel are a member and they have access to daily 10-minute workouts, a level 1, level 2, level 3 that they can easily do at home. But if you're not a member, I've put together 5 free follow-along workouts from the members area, and I'll include a link in the description below so you can try them out and start today and begin burning fat in 10 minutes. You can get the shape of your life in an hour a week. Brings us to the last reason, and it's the most important one of all, because this one is silently working underneath every other mistake that we've covered. It's your own body actively working to stop you from losing fat. And the reason this happens is because your body doesn't want to be lean. It wants to stay alive. It's very smart. And it treats the weight you're carrying as the weight keeping you safe. So the moment you start losing fat, it doesn't cooperate. Instead, it panics and it interprets your weight loss as famine. So then it fights back, and it does it in 3 ways. It first slows your metabolism. You start burning noticeably fewer calories all day, even at rest, than someone your size who didn't diet. Second, it ramps up your hunger. The longer you push, the louder that gets until you're fighting cravings all day and you're blaming your willpower for something that your body is doing on purpose. And then thirdly, it starts burning your muscle, like we talked about. When food is scarce, your body sees muscle as an expensive thing to keep around. So it breaks it down for fuel right alongside the fat. And remember what I showed you earlier, losing muscle drops your metabolism even further, which only makes this problem even worse. You can think of your body's response like a thermostat. It has a weight that it wants to hold. And the second you drop that weight, you lower that temperature, it kicks on every system it has to pull you back. The harder you push, the harder it fights back. This is why almost everyone hits a wall on their fat loss journey. The scale was moving, and then one day it just stops. Now, if this happens to you, the last thing you want to do is double down. It's a guaranteed way to make the slowdown even worse because it tells your body that the famine is getting more serious, so it digs its heels in even more. Some of you got real stubborn fat-burning mechanisms in your body. You can't beat it on the head. You have to outsmart it. And the fix surprises almost everyone. When you hit that wall, you actually want to eat more for a little while. Researchers proved this worked. People who dieted for a few weeks, then ate at a maintenance, those people lost significantly more fat than the people who just kept grinding straight through. And this works because the break convinces your body that the emergency is over. So your metabolism climbs back up, your hunger settles. And when you drop back into deficit, you're starting fresh instead of digging a deeper hole. Now, the other half of this trick is to stop being predictable. Your body adapts to whatever you do over and over. So when you stall, change the pattern. Shift when and how you eat. Switch up your workouts and movement. Give it something it hasn't settled into. When you keep your body guessing like that, it can never dig in and grind all your progress to a halt. So when the scale stalls, and it will, don't take it as a sign to punish yourself harder. Take it as the signal to back off, eat a little bit more lifestyle approved food, and to mix things up. It feels backwards, I know, but working with your body instead of against it is the real secret to losing the fat and keeping it off for good and making healthy eating and a healthy approach a lifestyle, not just a program or a diet. Now, once you start fixing these 4 mistakes, your body is finally going to start letting go of fat. But here's something you need to keep in mind at first. You might not see it on the scale at all. That's because in the beginning, the changes show up in other ways that most people don't even recognize as fat loss. So they assume nothing's working and they give up right before the real fat loss kicks in. That's why in my next video, I walk you through 15 real signs that you're burning fat, including some strange ones that almost no one knows to look for. It's already been watched by more than 1 million people, and it'll give you exactly what you need to know to understand that you're making progress, even when the scale doesn't show it. So I'll include a link to that here. Click to watch it next, and I'll see you there.